In today's Pokemon market update, we are talking about Chilling Reign. Right now, we're seeing a lot of singles from the set actually make some pretty big moves, as well as some of the supply on TCG Player on these cards is really starting to dwindle. The sealed product is actually in a really good place as well. Hasn't really dropped very much. I think it's getting ready for another run. And let's just jump straight into what I'm talking about. Now, the first card up on the list is for you cutesy card collectors. This is the Blissey V, number 183. Now, this is an alternate art. Chilling Reign has a ton, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the most alternate arts of the Sword and Shield era. And this is one that has been undervalued for a long time. Check out what we're seeing right now. It's up 64% in the past 3 months, going from a $24 card all the way up to around $40 currently. And you can see the most recent sale is at $55 and lowest listed are all at $60 and up. So definitely an undervalued, underappreciated alternate art for a long time. I totally get the appeal for the cutesy crowd collectors. It definitely fits that vibe. There's a lot of people who collect cute pink cards, and this one definitely fits. Look at the growth on this one, 129% on the year. The 1 year low being around $18. So this was widely available, very affordable for a long time. It'll be really interesting to see how people's perspective of this card shifts, because a lot of the times, you know, the value on the card is what dictates how much people like it. And this is one that maybe now that it's starting to shoot up, maybe people will like this and appreciate this card a little bit more. Another one that is very affordable in a PSA 10, check out the last solds. This is more recently, 120, but a few days ago, this was sold for under 100 and pretty much right at $100 in a PSA 10. So we'll have to see how PSA 10 prices move up based off of this current price movement. I don't think you're going to see sub 100 sales of this card anymore. But this card, it also reminded me, I just wanted to bring this up. I feel like this card pairs very well with the Trainer Gallery Blissey V from Silver Tempest. So I just wanted to bring that up to people's attention, because if you're interested in the alternate art, maybe pick up the Trainer Gallery as well. I feel like they pair really well. So yeah, a little Silver Tempest mentioned there. Next up is the Galarian Moltres. This is another alternate art, number 177. And yes, we will be talking about the Blaziken in a second. I just wanted to talk about some of the cards that have moved up a little bit more. So right now we're seeing this card up around 18% in the past 3 months, from a low of 166 up to just over $200 now. And lowest listeds are all a little higher than that, 210 and up on this card. And actually, there's just 3 listings at 210 and then it jumps up into the 220s. So we may see this card continue to jump. You'll also note very low supply. There's only 31 copies currently available. If you look at the last month, 21 copies have sold just in the past month alone. So if this trend continues, we may see this card continue to run up. Now, worth noting, the previous high on this card was right here in April at around $200. So we are now past that. We're at a 1 year high on this card, even if it's just a few dollars over, and it's going to continue to trend up. A lot of people do like this card. I'm not the biggest fan of the Galarian version of this version of Moltres personally, but I do obviously understand the appeal. It's got great color work, and it is a very cool card. So back here, also worth noting, a year ago, this was a $127 card. So some pretty good gains overall. Not as good, you know, as we've seen from a lot of the other alternate arts from, you know, even a second or third alternate art from the Sword and Shield era from a lot of the other sets. So, you know, maybe that kind of shows that there is some room to grow on this one. I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on it. I'll keep you guys updated as this thing continues to move. So that's the Galarian Moltres V. PSA 10 sales, still pretty affordable compared to some of the other alternate arts, but last sold's $520. Before that, $499, $485, and $496. So that's what you can expect currently in a PSA 10. Also, I did want to bring up the population report on this card, just to give a little bit of perspective. This is a 6,200 pop 10, and there has been over 10,000 graded. So it's about a 60% gem rate, give or take. And yeah, I think the pop reports are always worth mentioning, especially on bigger cards as they start to move up. And there's just been some interesting numbers floating around, and you know, there's a lot of people who preach pop report matters, and there's a lot of people who preach that don't. I think it matters, but it depends on the card. It definitely depends. It doesn't matter in every scenario. And so I think it's also just good to know kind of where things are at. So I try to bring that up whenever possible. And then next up, we do need to talk about the Blaziken. Now, this is obviously the chase card of the set. This is the VMAX number 201 alternate art. It's not up as big as some of the other cards mentioned, but it is climbing, right? It's up 8%. 8% on an expensive card. You know, it went from 348 to around 380. So, you know, a decent little jump, all things considered. And you will notice that supply is starting to get low. There's only 25 copies currently on TCG Player for this card, and 15 sold in the past month alone. So we could end up in a little supply and demand issue if this picks up as well. The previous high on this card was 389 right here back in March. So we're right there. We're a few dollars below. So this could be very similar to some of the other cards, and we could be at a 1 year high. The 1 year low was around $256. Let's see, lowest listeds right now. There's only one at 345. So maybe be a little careful with that. That 113 sales with 0% feedback. So maybe be careful. I don't think that's a good listing to buy. So the lowest listing is right at market price at 380.19. So we'll have to see if this one, you know, 2 sales and then we're up to $400, which would be the 1 year high on this card. Now, also keep in mind, just as a little reminder, if you missed it, you weren't around, or you didn't see, this card has proven to be extremely difficult to pull. Cool Trainer Ryan went through boxes and cases trying to pull this card. So just keep that in mind, just throwing that little tidbit out there. It's not really for me. I don't really like the way they chose to do this card as much. I think the concept's cool, but it just super doesn't appeal to me. Totally understand for those who do like it, but that's the Blaziken VMAX, the current chase card of the set. And we will talk about PSA 10 prices as well. Here are the last solds: $950, $810, $810. And there was one previously down here at $1,200. I don't know, that seems a little bit high considering there was an $810 on the same day, and these ones both ran for bids. But just for a reference point, if we scroll up right here, this is what this card was selling for back in June. $630 in June, and then $800 in July, and now we're in October at $950. So the card has been trending up overall in a PSA 10. Population report on this card: there's only 5,700 of this card in a PSA 10 with 8,500 graded. So a pretty decent gem rate on this card, but you know, not as high of a pop report on it. Really, like I said, very difficult to pull. Maybe there was a little bit of a, I don't know if it was a batching issue or what it was with Cool Trainer Ryan's difficulty. He definitely opened enough packs where he should have pulled it sooner, but you know, sometimes it happens. So the current chase card, under 6,000 pop report. Before we go any further, I did want to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is Shiny. If you're watching this video, obviously you collect Pokemon cards, but if you collect anything else, any other TCG stuff, you're going to want to be logging it all in Shiny, because right now, specifically in the Pokemon card market, is moving really fast. There's tons of cards you may have forgotten about. They've been shooting up in value. This is going up, this is going down, and I log everything I have in Shiny. I'm also a very visual person, so they have a lot of great charts and graphs. Helps me understand what my collection is worth. And I collect, as you can see behind me, sealed, PSA 10s, raw copies. I collect everything. So it's nice to be able to know what it's all worth all in one place. So Shiny is my go-to app for tracking my collection, but you don't have to take my word for it. You can check out the reviews. They have 4.9 out of 5 stars on the Apple App Store, and a ton more on the Google Play Store as well. So if you want to go check out Shiny, the best way to track your collection, there will be a link in the description. It's completely free to use. There is a paid version if you want to check that out as well. It unlocks some additional features, but completely free to use. So make sure you go check out Shiny, link in the description. All right, and let's get back to Chilling Reign for a minute. I did want to talk about the sealed, because the sealed product has been slowing down. You know, this is one that it shot up a little bit later. Current market price is around $555 for a booster box, and it's still up on the 3-month, right? 35% up. In the past month, it's dropped, you know, almost 4%. Nothing crazy, right? Keep in mind that with a lot of these sets that have shot up pretty big, I mean, look what it's done in the past year, 143%. And this one has your typical stair-step pattern on the graph. I mean, just every time it shoots up and then it stagnates and goes down, shoots up, stagnates, and goes down every single time. So back here a year ago, $228 box, it shot up to around $340. Then it dropped to around $310, then shot up to $440, dropped to around $410, shot up to 578, and it's dropped currently around 555. I wouldn't be surprised if this box continues to drop and stagnate a little bit further. Now, something also interesting worth noting, let's just track how far it goes in between each leg up. So you got January to, so you got about 4 months, and then May to August. So 3 to 4 months on each, between each movement. So if that trend continues, we would see in about December to January, we see this box start to trend up again. We'll see. That'll be interesting to see if that continues to trend up, if it follows that. So, December to January, we'll have to keep an eye and see if it starts moving up. It is worth noting as well that the listed median price is still at 600, which has been in this current market on TCG Player a good indicator for where sealed product has been moving. So it's going to continue to trend upwards over the long term. It may just dip or stagnate for the time being. And there are a few listings in the upper 400s. There's only 2, and then it goes down as low as 500, 506, and 500 currently on TCG Player. I wouldn't be surprised if they drop to 500 for a little bit, because 570 and it drops to 500. If it loses $70, it's still doing very good overall. So not really surprised there. I think the boxes are in a good spot. There's only 107 currently listed on TCG Player. But like I mentioned, as expensive box sales have slowed down. There's only been 11 sales in the past month. So maybe that's why it takes a little bit of time as these sales slow down for, additional price movement to happen. On top of the booster box, we do need to talk about ETBs for a second. Now, this is a set that has multiple ETBs. Right now, we're looking at the Pokemon Center edition of right here. This is the Ice Rider box, up 21% in the past 3 months. So actually pretty good gains, honestly. Went from around 160 to 195 currently. Listed medians at 220. Another box that just doesn't have a lot of supply, or only 17 boxes currently. So this one could trend up pretty big, 194% on the 1 year. So that's actually really good. When compared to the booster box, that this has outperformed the booster box in the last year, right? 143% versus 194%. So that's very interesting. A lot of people, specifically from Sword and Shield era, would prefer booster boxes, myself included. But this is one case where the Pokemon Center ETB has definitely outperformed the booster box. $66 box a year ago. Lowest listeds right now. You got one at 195 and then one at 200. So that's right at current market and at the most recent sale. So another interesting one we'll have to track. And then we do need to talk about regular ETBs real quick. We're not going to go too in depth on this one. They are trending up though, up 8% in the past 3 months, nothing too crazy. On the year, 107%. So pretty good on the year. A year low of around $47. And they're just now finally breaking that $100 mark, which we're seeing, there's a lot of Scarlet and Violet era boxes already at or surpassing the $100 mark. And so that's kind of funny when you look at it. But it's just kind of how it's worked. So Chilling Reign at 100, listed median at 115, most recent sale at 108. So these will probably continue to trend up into the future. And then let's talk about a few more cards. This is the Gold Snorlax. This is number 224. It's up 15% in the past 3 months from 80 up to 95. Not the craziest gain, but another one that you start to look at the supply, it's a little low, right? 33 copies. So that's a kind of a trend that's really holding true about the set in general. And I think we'll probably see some good movement moving forward just overall. But $60 a year ago, it did run up to 89, then dip back down to 80. So we're just technically, it was $95 a few days ago. We're at 94. I'm going to say we're at a 1 year high for the Gold Snorlax. Not my favorite style for the Golds, but, actually as a Snorlax fan, I like the card because of Snorlax, but I think they've definitely improved on the Golds. Then we have Galarian Articuno. This is another alternate art from a set that has, I should have looked up how many. Let me know in the comments, what the number is of alternate arts from the set, but this is number 170. It's up almost 60% in the past 3 months, so very good. And in the last month, it's slowed down a little. It's only up 2%, but still continuing to show some growth. And previously, this card had peaked at around $62, so now we're obviously at a 1 year high at 76. It didn't really fluctuate too much overall, 42 to 62 to 47. So it didn't really bode too well. The card wasn't looking too good when it goes from 42 to just 47 essentially over this period of a few months. Usually after some explosive growth, you want to see a card set a higher low. So that shows there's not a ton of demand for this card for this version of Articuno. But maybe just based off of what the Moltres is starting to do, and maybe if that starts to gain attention, obviously because there is a set to be had here, right? The Galarian versions of the birds. Maybe that will help kind of pull this card up a little bit more. But currently right now around $76. I'm going to say this is an underrated and underappreciated alternate art. This card absolutely pops in person. It is absolutely stunning the way it sparkles and shines. But this is the Shadow Rider Calyrex number 205. And this card, right now, I think the chart was bugged. I remember when I pulled this up. The 1 month and 3 month chart is bugged for whatever reason. Sometimes this happens on TCG Player. But it's down on the 6 month, but you can see it's been bouncing back from a low of 62 up to 72. So, not the biggest gain, but a $10 gain. And then it is down overall on the 1 year. This card previously was as high as $80, and it was 80 back here. So definitely looks like this was a good time to buy in the 60s, and it's trending up right now. I like this card a lot. Like I said, don't think it's going to potentially ever have some insane value or anything like that, but it is a very, very nice looking card. So I am definitely a fan of it. You can pick one up. There is a lowest listed in the 60s still. So, once again, it's not really going to go too crazy, but it is worth noting in the set that is just chock full of alternate arts. Next up, we have the Slowking. This is number 179. This is an alternate art that for me, I guess maybe it's just the art style and how they drew the Slowking doesn't appeal to me. I don't really like this card at all. I don't really understand it. If people do it, it's fine. I don't hold it against them or anything, but it's one for me where I go pass. I don't want anything to do with this card. But it's up 8% in the past 3 months. Another low supply, right? 32 copies, same story, different card. Previously, this card was as high as $83, which is a mind blower to me. I could think of tons of other cards I'd rather spend money on, especially around $80. But a year ago, it went from 30 up to that 83 that I mentioned, and then 60. So this card actually showed pretty good growth, right? This is another classic example of big run up, and then it set a higher low when it retraced. So, and then it's bouncing off of that a few dollars up. So that does show that people do like this card. So I might be in the minority when it comes to the Slowking V. Here's a card that I do like a lot. This is the Zeraora number 166 alternate art. This card I like is a lot. I think it's another underrated one from the set. It's not up that much. It's only up 2% in the past 3 months, and honestly, not up very much on the year. It's only up 36%. A year ago, this was a $43 card. It peaked as high as 63, and now we're at 60. So it didn't drop very much off of this peak. So that shows that people do like this card. It's holding its value, off of this run up. So that does bode well for it. I just like the aesthetics, the art style. I think this is a super fun, cool looking card. I like pretty much everything about this card. I just got an eye appeal that really catches me. So I do like this card. Personally, lowest listeds are right there in the 60s. Once again, I don't think it's going to be necessarily a big mover per se, but a lot of undervalued Alta arts are underrated. Maybe they can't all be undervalued, right? But I think there's a few that stand out. And this is one of them. Okay. Every time I get to talk about this card, I think I say the same thing. I'd have to maybe fact check myself, but extremely undervalued, underrated, in my opinion. I think this card is stunning. I really like what they did with this card. But the market doesn't really agree with me on that one. I just like this card a lot. I think it's beautiful. But it's up 3% in the past 3 months, right? So it's nothing crazy. It's only a $57 card. It did previously peak as high as 63, and then a year ago this was a $40 card. So once again, if you use off of that growth, you go from 40 and then dip back down to 55. That's pretty good. So percentage-wise, not the craziest gainer either. 56 copies, not as low as some of the other alternate arts, but I think this card is stunning. I really do like this card a lot. So yeah, Galarian Rapidash maybe doesn't get enough. Maybe it just falls a little bit too much into the cutesy side. I don't know why the cutesy collectors haven't gobbled this card up, or maybe they all have. I don't know, but I think this one is underappreciated. I could definitely say that. underappreciated for an alternate art for sure. Next up is, now this is a version, these Galarian birds. I feel like, you know, it's kind of either a love or hate. This is one that I actually like. I do like the Galarian Zapdos. I didn't have a problem with them making him like an ostrich, like running, being on the ground. But I like this card, him running up this like steep, like cliff right here. Anyways, this one hasn't moved that much, right? It's pretty much flat in the past 3 months. You look at the 1 year, it's actually down. It's been as high as $72 and as low as 44. It did set a higher low, 44 up to 72, and then back down to currently right now actually is the lowest it's been, $52, 77 copies available. I like this one. So maybe when it comes to this set, like my radar is just a little off. Like I don't like the cards that other people like, and I like the cards that nobody likes. But I don't know. That's just how it's worked out for me. So yeah, I mean, good news for me is these cards are affordable. I'll take it, especially in this current market. So I still think a very affordable alternate art, all things considered. Looks like you can pick this up right in the low 50s currently for the Galarian Zapdos. I told you the set has a lot of alternate arts. Every card we're looking at is an alternate art. We're almost done. Bear with me. This is the Ice Rider Calyrex number 203 alternate art. Once again, I get that this is not a popular Pokemon by any stretch of the imagination, but another one that is very stunning in person. I like the shine. I like the look of these cards. These are cards that I collect just because I like the look of them. I like the art. It doesn't, and not really, it's not Calyrex for me, right? It's just the way they drew them, and I think they're stunning looking cards. So this is one that I do like a lot as well. It's not going to be your barn burner big dollar card, right? But it's currently around $41, 86 copies. So definitely a higher supply compared to some of the other ones. Might be a good time to buy. Check out this card. I mean, you know, the 1 year high at $47. So it hasn't really dropped a ton, right? You know, it goes from $47 to $41. It's only down 7% on the year. Very, very interesting. So it hasn't really moved a ton, right? It's been in that $40 range this whole time. You know, there's just not a lot of sales, right? 213 on the whole year. What has it been in the past month? 12 copies. So just not a lot of demand there for the Calyrex. And then last up, I just wanted to talk about this card because there's a recent Tornadus card that came out, but this is number 185, another alternate art. And this one's very cheap compared to some of the alternate arts on the market, $27 right now. But you can see you got a Rockruff and a Score Bunny here being flung. So I kind of like that. I think it's a sillier style card, but you can definitely see what's been going on with the Tornadus V. And the reason I bring it up is just to compare to currently right now. You could pick up the Tornadus Pokemon Center stamped card right here. And this card's currently at $32, or you can have an alternate art for $27. For my collection, I think I'd rather take this card, it's the sillier, cuter style at $27. But if I had to bet, I bet that the Pokemon Center stamped outperforms the alternate art long term. I just think this art style doesn't appeal to too many people. I just thought that was funny and worth noting. So that's pretty much what we have as far as Chilling Reign goes. I know that there's been a lot of comments in the past. People have been like, man, you need to give Chilling Reign its due. And I think this is its time. This is its video dedicated solely to Chilling Reign. I think there's a lot of good things that are boding well for it. And keep an eye on some of these cards. I'll keep you guys updated in the future because a lot of these cards are getting, low supply on TCG Player. Now, that doesn't mean, and I've said this many times, that people can't come in and start listing, right? They maybe even off watching this video, or they see the Blissies going up and they go, oh, well, I'll sell the Blissey now, and then a ton more listings come in. Definitely possible, but there's not a lot of people ripping Chilling Reign right now. I don't think there's a lot of new cards coming in. Stuff's already very expensive from that set. So it's a set that we'll have to keep a good eye on. Some people have it ranked a lot higher when it comes to Sword and Shield era stuff. I have it below like your top tier sets, but the amount of alternate arts is a positive for it, and it's a fun set. And I'm definitely going to be actually after this video I might actually go on eBay and just kind of check out a few of those lower dollar alternate arts and just check out some PSA 10 prices and see if I maybe can scoop up a card or two, just depending on what's for sale and what's kind of out there right now. Especially anything that was in like the $100 to like 150 range. If you could pick up alternate arts and a PSA 10, especially cards you like, it's definitely something I'm going to take a look at. So, but once again, I might be in the minority when it comes to a lot of those cards. So that's your Chilling Reign update for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you guys in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.